Crocs is an absolute monster. I don't know how many stocks are on the watch list 3 days in a row, but Crocs certainly was on the watch list 3 days in a row.
I don't know if that's ever happened.
And that move was, it had a great move yesterday and did really well today. Here's what you need to know about Crocs. So Crocs had Investor Day on Tuesday, yesterday. And in their Investor Day, two things I think are the ones that you want to look at that they pointed out. One was they projected that they would have $5 billion of annual revenues by 2026. That's huge. So to put it in perspective, and actually there's a chart in there if you scroll down, to put it into perspective, they did 1.8 billion the trailing 12 months. So you're talking, so from last year, 2020, you have a 233% growth. And so I'll pull that up last year, which was, I believe, 1.5 billion. Mm-hmm. They have 233% growth forecast. So that was big. They increased guidance. All that stuff's good. And they had a $500 million share buyback, which is really awesome. I can find it. But listen, we've talked about clogs. We've talked about Crocs. I don't know how many people are talking about Crocs, but we've been talking about it the last couple of earnings, and it is delivered for us almost unbelievably. Like, I'm just like, when does this thing cool off?
Yeah.
But if you look at really Crocs in the last 4 quarters, 6 quarters, it's understandable why it's moved up, because it has just beat on every conceivable metric.
Yeah. I mean, we look at the chart too, and it explains a lot. I mentioned on Monday that this 147.75 area was definitely going to be a time an area to watch for. I believe, was it Stockwatch Sunday? We talked about this being one that could be worth buying high and selling higher.
Yeah.
And we of course couldn't have predicted a share buyback like that, but man, this is going to continue to go higher on that. And this is just one of those things we continue to talk about. The share buybacks and the M&A side of the market is going to continue to roll here. And Crocs is just the latest example of that.
Yeah, they are. And I don't want to bet against Crocs, you know, but it does seem high, and I can understand why somebody wouldn't necessarily want to get into it. Long term, you should still be good. That growth, that revenue growth is awesome.
Yeah.
And we talked about Nike a little bit earlier, and I'm not saying it's the next big retail brand, but I want to know, is it the next big? And I'm not saying will it get to Nike's level, but what matters in the market is growth, rate of growth. Good.
Real quick, I need to corroborate this. Jeff Ponica says the Crocs' PE is 14.95.
Oh, really? I can pull that up.
If that's the case, then yes, they have plenty of room to run.
Yeah. So Crocs' PE is 15 right now, as the price stands, 15.50.
And what's Nike's?
I think it's 43.
That's the wrong ticker. Sorry. 45 ish.
Okay.
44. So it's not, and obviously we're comparing apples to oranges because Crocs is not Nike, but just to give you a perspective of their PE ratio, I would say the average retail company is probably trading around 20 to 24.
Yeah. So Under Armour's at 24.
Yeah.
Lulu's at 66. And so I think yes, to be honest, only because there's a couple questions. Should Nike be worried about Crocs? I don't know. Who you think about Under Armour? Under Armour took a run at Nike.
Yeah.
Nobody has ever come close. Crocs is the only company that I've ever seen that has a cult-like following like Nike. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying that overall as a company they'll beat them, but like from a perspective of just footwear, obviously Nike has more exposure, but Crocs is trying to do that. I wonder if I was Nike, out of any of the competitors, they're so far ahead of everybody, but I would be more worried about a Crocs than I would be about an Adidas or Reebok or even Under Armour, because Under Armour is kind of going in a different direction.
Yeah.
But mark my words, Crocs could make waves because they have the cult-like following, their costs because of their products are a lot more favorable than the other competitors outside to Nike's competitors, and they have the attention. So it sounds crazy. I know it sounds really wild, but the reality is that don't sleep on Crocs. I'm telling you.
So actually, and I'm actually impressed by this. Don sent me just sent me a picture of their actual shoes,
Yeah,
like the real shoes, not the clogs.
Yeah,
they look dope.
Yeah, I showed you the ones that I was going to buy.
Yeah. I forgot all about that, but this looks pretty awesome. I mean, that's.
Well, can you send that in Discord? I can.
That's the shoe.
I mean,
that's a Croc shoe. It looks like you bought it from Under Armour.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how comfortable it is. I would certainly be willing to test it out. Boots on the ground type of DD, but yeah. You make a compelling argument.
And it's not, that's where it's like, looking forward, you got to also think there's a couple of things that work in Crocs' favor. One is everybody knows Nike. Nike's a name. Like, who are you going to adopt? Like, where is it Nike going to go? Nike is all over the world. Well, so when you think about growth, it's not about I actually probably framed that question wrong. It's not about them overtaking Nike. It's about taking market share. Yeah. So like, how much can Nike grow compared to how much Crocs can grow? Crocs can grow internationally. There's huge opportunity there. Crocs can go beyond their cult group, right? I've never wore Crocs. Have you ever bought Crocs?
No.
I might be buying Crocs. You might be buying Crocs. But we've bought Nike. And so, what I do know is that people that have them have more than one.
Yeah.
And they don't, it's like Crocs. This is a hot take, people. Put it on camera 3.
You got Stephen A.
Crocs.
I would love to see a Stephen A type brand from Fat Man Zoom.
Crocs is the Denver of the footwear industry. Once you move to Denver, you don't leave Denver.
So
you know what I'm saying?
Yes. I was actually thinking of some sort of analogy in my head. Is Nike to its industry as Ford is to the automaker, and Crocs is Tesla? Is that the hot take? Crocs is the Tesla of footwear.
I think the second part's right. I think you got to think of something better, like Ford.
Well, Ford, I mean, in the EV space, Ford's the only one that I think could actually hold a candle to Tesla right now.
Yeah, it's just so unsexy. Nike is sexy.
It is. But,
But yes, yeah.
As far as
Crocs is the
got
Tesla.
brand loyalty, you got, market share, all that stuff.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I think so. For sure.
There you have it.
But I mean, you got to admit, who do you know that's moved to Denver that's ever come back? Nobody.
I actually have a friend that went from Raleigh to Denver and now back in Raleigh.
Oh, Raleigh's pretty nice too.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. There feels like San Diego. Nobody comes back from San Diego.
Yeah. I know a couple people moved to San Diego, never came back.
Yeah. So anyways, all I'm saying is like, don't sleep on Crocs. They're, whatever you think about them, they clearly know where their opportunities lie. They know what the sentiment is. And man, international, huge, and they still have a huge total addressable market. So that's the great thing about them. I think there's going to be continued growth for Crocs. I did not realize the PE. That is a case for why it can still go up.
Yeah.
And certainly a case for any pullbacks. I'm getting my ass in.
Yeah.
So remains to be seen. What do you guys think?